Every Wednesday, William Henry's Revelations bring you a powerful half hour of information at the cutting edge of reality. Information that you cannot find anywhere else in the world. And now, here's William.
Welcome, everyone. On my way home from L.A. after recording new Ancient Aliens interviews, I had a chance to catch up on the ultra-secret, taxpayer-funded Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency's public admission that the U.S. government's quest for warp drive a la Star Trek is real. Seems traveling faster than the speed of light may come faster than we previously realized. Keep in mind that if you were born only 150 years ago, you would be in a hide-covered wagon on the Oregon Trail, out of food, clean water, and slowly dying of typhoid fever. By crafting a warp device, the Department of Defense seeks not only to maintain the superiority of the U.S. military, which is DARPA's mission, but to make the next human, or take the next human, peacefully over the fence, keeping us, the last of the previous humans, solar system bound. What this means is that we will soon have the ability to open wormholes and sail the stars, something I have advocated ancient aliens had figured out how to do long ago. Children born today could travel the stars lickety-split. Instead of taking 75,000 years to get to Alpha Centauri, the star system nearest to our own, warp-equipped astronauts could make the trip in 2 weeks. Warping into space will incomprehensibly redefine the way all, not just the privileged, humans live. A warp drive would be a Judgment Day device for the existing world order, the last invention of present humanity and the first of the next human. It could be our legacy. Meet the man spearheading this effort. His name is Harold, or Sonny White. He runs an advanced NASA propulsion lab called EagleWorks at Johnson Space Center in Houston. He's part of the DARPA-funded 100-year Starship program that seeks to bring warp drive capability to humanity, making us an interstellar civilization. White was recently profiled by PopSci.com. I was intrigued by the overtly messianic light in which they presented him, warping him into a three-headed human. Why not present him as a messiah? He is, after all, out to save humanity. A second PopSci image of White shows his face warping just like images of the tri-headed Jesus. I'm sure that White as a warp messiah biz is intentional. It's got to be PopSci's way of introducing much-needed spirituality into this topic. After all, if NASA wants to be successful with its warp drive, it's going to have to kick in the spiritual drive first. White's mission to save humanity by moving us into space resonates with Dr. Stephen Hawking, who believes we must do so in order to save ourselves. On a recent visit to a stem cell clinic in California, the 71-year-old Hawking said he didn't think humans would survive another 1,000 years without, quote, escaping beyond our fragile planet. We must continue to go into space for humanity, he said. But going beyond our solar system will require a warp drive or a wormhole device. Hawking has also famously said that we should fear nomadic aliens who may have run into our same issues long ago. Having raped their home planet of its resources, he suggests, advanced ancient alien races travel the stars in massive ships seeking new worlds to plunder. Hawking's obviously got a pirate's mind, and hopefully DARPA isn't serving us up to some race of crazy pirate aliens. It seems to me that any race advanced enough to create a warp drive would have transcended the mindset of Professor Hawking and others who see the universe as a fundamentally scary place. T-minus 100 years, humble beginnings. The EagleWorks team isn't just theorizing or fantasizing about warp craft. They're designing what White terms humble laboratory experiments. They're building mini warp drives that will, they hope, form the foundations for a practical solution to building a usable warp drive. It's a promising first leap, and it's extraordinary to think that we may be less than 100 years away from perfecting warp technology and becoming a Star Trek-type civilization. Add to this the advances in genetics, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, stem cells, and one can see that we're clearly creating an astounding world for the next human. To comprehend it, all we need to do is expand our imagination and the definition of the possible. Fortunately, the mythic record is filled with images of human ascent via bubble-like craft similar to the one NASA has commenced building. And I'm sure Mr. White has more than one amazing mythic superhero in mind to symbolize this quest. The term warp drive was invented by Gene Roddenberry in 1966 when he boldly set humanity on a course for the stars in Star Trek. In the series, the Starship Enterprise opens a warp tunnel and travels faster than the speed of light. However, warp travel has long been thought to be impossible. Well, that was just like another Star Trek invention, beaming, or quantum teleportation, which breakthrough science is now making possible. Warp travel is also within our reach. Roddenberry's imaginative craft inspired a young physicist named Miguel Alcubierre to ponder what it would take to actually build a warp craft. In a 1994 paper titled The Warp Drive, Hyperfast Travel Within General Relativity, he envisioned a bubble in space as a mechanism for getting an object from point A to point B at faster-than-light speeds without running afoul of Einstein's law of special relativity, which prohibits such travel. Alcubierre realized that for a spacecraft to travel faster than the speed of light, it would need to somehow create a warp bubble around it. This would allow the spacecraft to be contained within its own region of space-time. If the bubble can be controlled, then the light speed limit can be exceeded in normal space. The spacecraft itself would be stationary, whereas the bubble in space-time will zip around it at effectively infinite speed. The reason why the craft isn't violating Einstein's special theory and the law of relativity is because it isn't moving. At the front of the warp bubble, space-time would contract, while behind the bubble, space-time would expand. The rocking motion would push the craft through space faster than the speed of light, like a bobber surfing on a wave. The ride would be smooth and even. The problem with Alcubierre's warp drive was that it required all the energy in the universe to function. White and his team tweaked the warp drive's geometry and found a solution that would reduce the amount of energy required. Adjusting the shape of the ring around the warp bubble and oscillating the space warp, he proposed, would also reduce energy usage. The feasibility of oscillating the warp bubble's intensity is what White is presently testing in his lab. So, are the crew at EagleWorks mad scientists with big NASA budgets, or are they visionaries of a device, a Judgment Day device that will avert Judgment Day and save us? Should we dust off our vintage Save the Humans bumper sticker and get ready to slap it on an EagleWorks craft? Will we be leaving our little old planet for distant shores in the Milky Way? Or will we fall into the sun? Only time will tell. White's IcarusInterstellar.org will host the Icarus Interstellar Starship Congress that will be held in Dallas, Texas in August 2013. Their purpose is to push the warp edge and plan humanity's escape to space. Icarus is an inauspicious choice of superheroes. He's famous for his attempt to escape from ancient Crete by means of wings that his father constructed from feathers and wax. He ignored instructions not to fly too close to the sun, and the melting wax caused him to fall into the sea where he drowned. So much for picking a really great superhero. White downloaded the name EagleWorks, a riff on the famous Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, and had NASA create a logo to his specifications. The logo features a warp craft entering a wormhole. It's actually the same craft and wormhole from a 2008 article on NASA's Breakthrough Propulsion Physics page. The phrase or slogan, Godspeed, accompanies the logo. Godspeed? Warp speed? Same thing? EagleWorks logo features three symbols I've seen in a cartoon from the ancient Egyptian Book of Coming Forth by Day, in which the bird-headed god Ra, the sun, rides a wormhole-shaped ship of eternity, the sunboat or starboat or starship, into a gate of stars, a stargate. In both cartoons, we link a bird, a craft capable of traveling millions of years, and a portal or a stargate. I'm trying to recall another place where I've seen this unique combination of symbols. The similarity of the symbols makes it apparent that White or someone at NASA or DARPA has either copied the ancient Egyptian idea for the EagleWorks logo, unlikely, is remembering or continuing a past life as an ancient Egyptian wormhole priest, even more likely, or that this combination of symbols, the bird, the craft, the portal, is just out there, floating around in the sea of epic cosmic ideas, and it's time the technology and action it symbolizes is pulled ashore, most likely. Oh yes, now I remember, ancient Egypt isn't the only place that links the bird tribe and the winged ring or craft and the portal of the gods as symbols. It also shows up on 6th century BC cylinder seals from Babylon. In one example, the sun god Shamash hovers in the winged ring, his sun disk or throne, and we see a humanoid Shamash, like an ancient astronaut, in the winged ring as an archetype, if not a prototype, for a human being in a warp craft with an outer ring of exotic matter that can bend space-time. The Jews called this craft the Merkaba and describe its ability to open portals, and those who have mastered the Merkaba craft are, in fact, time travelers. The winged beings flanking the tree of life just beneath the winged ring in the Babylonian cylinder seal are called Apkallu, or the seven sages. According to Babylonian sources, the seven sages are supernatural creatures who lived before the flood. They were made by the Sumerian god Enki, who sent them to humanity to bring culture and civilization. Scholars interpret them as griffin demons with bird heads. What kind of heads? Definitely a raptor. Eagles? Possibly. One of the seven sages, by the way, was Adapa, who ascended to heaven in a Merkaba craft, I suggest. I humbly propose that Sonny White and the folks at NASA DARPA's EagleWorks can dramatically increase their chances of realizing this extraordinary starship dream by tapping the imagination of the visionaries of the ancient world and nurturing their minds with the symbolism of the ancient Stargate metaphysicians. This includes not only the Merkaba or throne chariot mysticism of the Temple of Solomon, but of course the ancient Sumerian images, the Babylonian images, the Egyptian images. My latest book, The Judgment Day Device, is loaded with Merkaba imagery and will certainly make a fun addition to the EagleWorks library. A copy is on its way to them. As I show, superluminal, aka faster-than-light travel, in bubble ships is not just the stuff of science fiction writers and new age engineers. Ancient visionaries were more than comfortable with beings traveling the stars in bubble ships, maybe even accessing exotic matter. Sacred art shows avatars and messiahs time-traveling the cosmos in bubble ships, just like those proposed by White, and coming and going via portals that resemble modern wormholes. In addition to inviting me to give a presentation on this symbolism to the Icarus Interstellar Stargate Congress in August, I recommend that they duct tape these images on the refrigerator door in their break room, frame them and decorate the walls of their restrooms with them, put them on T-shirts, screensavers, or bumper stickers, wherever. What Sonny White and his crew will realize is that the ancient gods weren't traveling in tin can starships, even ones with exotic matter rings or donuts surrounding them like NASA's trying to build. Instead, the body of the god was translated or transfigured into the bubble ship, which again they called the Merkaba or throne chariot, that is composed of an organic light substance, a magic stuff that's referred to by many names. This Merkaba throne mysticism can help to design the suits and the seats that these warp-traveling astronauts will be sitting upon. Because the Merkaba is the star vehicle in which the immortal celestial beings travel from star system to star system. The classic example of a Merkaba throne is the one seen by Ezekiel. A comparison of the proposed warp craft of NASA's DARPA program, the EagleWorks program, beside Ezekiel's throne from the Amiens Cathedral tells the story completely. They both feature the same wheels within wheels design. They tell the same story. The key to traveling in these star bubble ships is dark energy. It's one of the deepest mysteries of the universe. The evidence for dark matter is comprehensive, writes John Timmer. We've measured its effect on galaxies and galaxy clusters, and we've seen its imprint in gravitational lenses in the cosmic microwave background. The annoying thing is that we still don't know what it is. Well, the ancients knew what it was or what it is. It's the hypothesized magic stuff that holds the universe together. Newsflash. On April 4th, 2013, NASA announced that scientists aboard the International Space Station may have detected dark matter. Over the last few decades, scientists have come to the conclusion that the universe's composition is only about 5% atoms. In other words, the real stuff that we see and know around us. That means that the rest is stuff we can't see. About 71% is something called dark energy, and another 24% is the dark matter. As described by physicist Eric Davis, senior research physicist at the Institute of Advanced Studies in Austin, Texas, and co-author of Frontiers of Propulsion Science, the warp drive can be envisioned as a means of surfing through space-time. He says that we can think of space as the ocean and Michael Phelps is a starship. He's propelled by fission or fusion rockets, any kind of rocket, but he's swimming vigorously, leaving planet Earth, and he's going to swim all the way to Alpha Centauri, 4.3 light years away. He's flailing his arms, kicking his feet, extending a great deal of energy, and he can't go very fast. The resistance of the ocean water is going to keep him limited to below the speed of light. Einstein's special theory says you can't go faster than light, you can't even reach it, but you can always stay less than light speed. Warp drive is a whole different matter. What you do is you use exotic energy, basically just a fancy word for vacuum energy. Some quantum energy from the vacuum, and you're going to surround your starship with a bubble of this energy, and it bends space. It creates a surf effect. Michael Phelps is now standing on a surfboard, and instead of swimming through space at less than the speed of light, he's surfing on space. Space is like the wave on the ocean water that surfs him to the beach faster than the speed of light. Vacuum energy is called the divine matrix, the realm out of which everything manifests. Classical real-world alchemy casually referred to Carmo, the base substance of the Philosopher's Stone, and Azoth, either the universal medicine or the universal solvent. It may even be the universal soul. What this means is that NASA must once again deal with soul stuff to build a warp craft. Exotic matter is really anything you want it to be. In the 2003 movie The Core, it's referred to as unobtainium. If we had exotic matter, we would be able to do much more interesting things than build an Alcubierre drive. We could build wormholes or even time machines, which would consume relatively minimal amounts of the magic stuff, according to theorists, just like the ancient sages and avatars did. My conclusion is that by combining warp science with Merkaba metaphysics, NASA, EagleWorks, DARPA can take us boldly into the divine cosmos.
Attending a William Henry presentation is unforgettable. Keep up with his schedule at williamhenry.net. You've been listening to William Henry's Revelations on Dreamland Radio. Next Wednesday, another cutting-edge revelation from William Henry.
Warp-equipped astronauts could make the trip in 2 weeks. Warping into space will incomprehensibly redefine the way all, not just the privileged, humans live. A warp drive would be a Judgment Day device for the existing world order, the last invention of present humanity and the first of the next human. It could be our solar system bound. What this means is that we will soon have the ability to open wormholes and sail to stars, something I have advocated ancient aliens had figured out how to do long ago. Children born today could travel the stars lickety-split instead of taking 75,000 years to get to Alpha Centauri, the star system nearest to our on the Oregon Trail, out of food, clean water, and slowly dying of typhoid fever. By crafting a warp device, the Department of Defense seeks not only to maintain the superiority of the U.S. military, which is DARPA's mission, but to make the next human, or take the next human, peacefully over the fence, keeping us, the last of the previous humans.
Every Wednesday, William Henry's Revelations bring you a powerful half hour of information at the cutting edge of reality. Information that you cannot find anywhere else in the world. And now, here's William.
Welcome, everyone. On my way home from L.A. after recording new Ancient Aliens interviews, I had a chance to catch up on the ultra-secret, taxpayer-funded Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency's public admission that the U.S. government's quest for warp drive a la Star Trek is real. Seems traveling faster than the speed of light may come faster than we previously realized. Keep in mind that if you were born only 150 years ago, you would be in a hide-covered wagon